We've reached the final few days of the 60-day legislative session. We are back in the upper rotunda of the West Virginia State Capitol. This is MetroNews Talkline, and we are underway.
Do not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded. We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the MetroNews Radio and Television Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful show in West Virginia. This is MetroNews Talkline with Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows.
Check set lineup link. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Cue Dave and TJ. You're on. MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Good morning. Welcome to the AARP. Good morning. Welcome to the AARP broadcast location, Upper Rotunda of the West Virginia State Capitol. Dave and TJ with you. Ethan Collins is our radio producer. If you're listening in on one of our great radio affiliates across the state, Stephanie Pauley handles the video stream here on site. Jake Link is back at Master Control at the broadcast suite in Morgantown. If you're watching on the MetroNews television app, YouTube, or Facebook Live. Coming up this morning, U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito joins us bottom of the hour. We'll talk to her about the war in Iran. Plus, there is a partial government shutdown, in case you forgot. Later, Delegate Adam Burkhammer will join us. We'll talk about TJ's favorite bill, Senate Bill 420. A little bit later, Jim Bailey will join us 11:33 this morning with the West Virginia Energy Users Group. Brad McElhenney, Wayne Ryan, SSAC Executive Director, will join us as well. Morning, TJ.
I have said my piece on 420 many times. I have written about it many times. Folks can go there and they can know what I think, which, you know what, means nothing. So take it for what it is.
It did take up a lot of time in the House Energy Committee yesterday. They had a lot of questions about that bill. It was up for committee hearing, and that bill could be up for passage today in Energy Committee, right?
I looked. It's not on the agenda.
Oh,
not on markup.
Didn't make the agenda today.
At this point.
Everything the next few days is caveated with at this point.
Yes.
Until we get to Sine Die Saturday night. Joining us here at the AARP broadcast location, Kanawha County Senator Tom Takubo joining us. Good morning, Senator.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Are you looking forward to Saturday night? About 11:58.
I'm always looking forward to Saturday night. That's the best night of the session.
Want to get into some of your thoughts about what's happening, what's not happening this session. But first, you had some guests here in the building. Who'd you have?
Yeah, we had a company from Morgantown, West Virginia called Unigen. They're a very unique company, and so back in the day when Mylan was operating, 3,500 employees, manufacturing generic medications used all over the world, not just the United States. When that closed down, I think in 2022, all of that capacity offshored to India and other places around the world. Unigen is some engineers that has developed a lot of big drugs that we use commonly every day today. They saw a severe need in Africa, for example, when a child has sickle cell anemia, life expectancy is only about 5 years old, whereas in the United States it's 70. And that's just because they don't have the capacity to treat. These guys have reformulated medications to treat that condition that is a stable pill form that can be readily spread throughout the continent of Africa. So the country of Kenya and other African countries are contracting with a West Virginia-based company, Unigen, to manufacture that here. That's exciting for us. Obviously creates West Virginia jobs, but that onshoring of manufacturing process back to the United States has a lot of potential, because not only that, many other drugs can start being manufactured back here in West Virginia.
Long term, can we compete with that cheaper labor that's in India and other places where that has been offshored?
Yeah, so it just matters. So the FDA stamp means a lot. And so the Trump administration obviously is pushing for all of that onshoring. And it really is a national defense issue, right? So a lot of people don't realize that if something happened, a lot of our antibiotics, for example, are made in China and India. If we ever got into a global conflict, we couldn't even treat simple infections. So there is a strategic point that even if it costs a little bit more, the importance of having that manufactured back here in the U.S. is vitally important. So I think everybody kind of understands that now. It's just a matter of getting that process back. And that's what we're here with some folks today to work on that.
And if we can bring that specifically back to Morgantown, which I know that area is one of the areas of growth in the state, but it's still recovering from the loss of Milan Pharmaceuticals there. Those were hundreds of good-paying jobs that just left that area overnight.
Well, and we've met with multiple. So I've met with companies from India in addition to Southeast Asia that do drug manufacturing. And so what they're so impressed by, it's not that we just have a facility up there, and that's still pristine. That Milan facility is still sitting there. It's the workforce that's still there. There's so many people that want to come back home, and to have a new company come in and try to capture enough workforce, retrain that workforce, and it's sitting there. These people are primed and very eager to come back home. When they, Unigen, for example, came into town and they sent out an application, they immediately had 30 well-trained applicants already applying for the spot, and they said you just don't see that anywhere else in the country. So we've got a very unique opportunity to create jobs, create something wonderful with drug manufacturing, help national security. So, you get multiple birds with one stone there.
Quickly, before we move on, can you tell us how many they have hired and how many they may expect to hire? Can you give us some ballpark figures?
Yeah, so the initial would be only about 12 just to kind of get the process started. They just got their FDA clearance, which that's huge. Mm-hmm. The next step will be talking federal funding and contracts. So when everything's up and running, they're looking at 300 to 350 employees. But right now they've just got FDA clearance. So that's why I'm having them down here meeting some folks. Matt Herridge, our Economic Development Secretary, met with him this morning just to kind of get names and faces put together and take the next steps.
Kanawha County Senator Tom Takubo is joining us here. We're at the AARP broadcast location in the upper rotunda of the West Virginia State Capitol. I know we have a few days to go, but do you think the bigger story at the end of this session will be what happened or what did not happen this year?
That's a great question. So, the push is always to try to drive economic development. That's the heartbeat, right? All the problems we talk about, the social issues, the people leaving the state, the population, it all comes back to economic development. And unfortunately, we've not had a very strong session so far. I mean, I'm still hopeful. We have Team West Virginia, which is essentially Jobs West Virginia. A lot of people ask me about that. So Jobs Ohio was done back in the early 2000s by Governor Kasich. It's generated over $7 billion of growth. I mean, that's a big winner. So we got Governor Kasich here. We worked with him for a year and a half. He said, "Hey guys, it was a great project, but here's the things we got wrong." And so Team West Virginia is a bill that could hopefully drive. I mean, if we even saw 25% of that growth here, a couple $1 billion, that's a heck of a win for West Virginia. So that's going to be up on for economic development today. So session's not done yet. Still got a lot of chance to get some good stuff across the finish line.
Team West Virginia has had a tough road in the Senate. You're a supporter, but can you give me a sense of what you believe the pushback has been? Why are people leery of that legislation?
I think it's letting go of control. What Team West Virginia does, I mean, every conservative thought leader tells you, hey, the private industry is going to run faster than what government can do, get the bureaucracy and the red tape out of the way. And I know that's certainly been the push of the governor to reduce red tape and try to really ramp us up. But I think with all that being said, you still have people in government that has trouble letting go, letting private industry take off, and that's what Team West Virginia would do. It would get government out of the way, let the private industry do what they do best, work with the government. It still brings in all the folks here. I guess is the issue. It's change. Everybody sometimes change is difficult for folks, but this is not an untested theory, right? Jobs Ohio has been incredibly successful, and the architect of that helped us draft our bill. So. Again, I don't think we're just throwing things to the wind, hoping that they land somewhere. We've got a proven model that we're following.
If we get that across the finish line this session, is that the kind of economic development initiatives we need to pursue on a more annual basis? What other economic development initiatives do we need to be looking at to push West Virginia forward? Yeah,
that's a great question. So. Typically what we would do is we would meet with industry, we would meet with the job creators, we would be finding out what's their game plan, and that's not really happened a lot this session. There's people out there that's got great ideas. Take Unigen for example. we've got to do a better job of getting hold of those people, talking to them, fostering, finding out what the needs are, finding out what we can do on the government side of things to help promote that and push it across the finish line. I mean, I've said since I came in the legislature, everything we should really be doing is looking at it through the lens of, hey, is this going to make my child have a better education? Is it going to make them want to stay here when they finish? Is it going to help them create a business and live here and raise a family? And if the answer is no, then why are we doing it? And so that's some frustration.
There's an election looming. Is that why we're doing some of these things?
Yeah, election years are always tough. People are hesitant. You know, I'm a firm believer that none of these seats belong to us. We are very privileged to sit in these seats for a very short period of time. And what I've tried to push on to legislators is, you know, nobody's going to remember us when we're gone. What they will remember is if we put in place things that are good, that is going to move West Virginia, that's going to help people's lives be better. So quit concentrating so much on wondering how this is going to affect you in an election, and really focus on what's this going to do long term after I'm gone. If I'm completely invisible and nameless, what can I do to make West Virginia a better place for everybody when I'm done? And you know, that's sometimes a tougher lift. Even the guys that came in with that, they get up here and they lose that thought process pretty quick sometimes.
Kanawha County Senator Tom Takubo joining us, AARP broadcast location. All right, you said you want to be positive, so we'll try to be positive. Give me an example. Have we done something this session that checks the boxes you said, that makes education better, that promotes staying here in West Virginia, grows jobs? Have we done something this session?
We have for jobs. We've done some important bills for site development. We've put some investment monies back in there for their closing fund. We did Senate Bill 1, which certainly could potentially help small businesses. All of that's important for education. You know, there's a lot of controversy about that, but the reality is people learn very, very differently. You know, when I went to medical school, my son's currently going to medical school, and I was talking to him, I was kind of amazed at how things have changed so much in 20 years. You know, technology, ChatGPT, when he has a topic that's coming up for test, he puts that PDF in there and he talks to his computer and he says, hey, teach me about it. Mm-hmm. And it's constantly going over that PDF, telling him, and if he has a spot that he's not for sure, he says, you know what, I'm not comfortable with that one, go into that with more detail, and it does. I mean, that is mind-blowing to me compared to when I had piles and piles of books and notes. Today, people learn different, and I think if we all understand that and accept that, Hope Scholarship, fully funded, it's helping folks that learn a different way, maybe want to be able to afford different types of education. What I think we have failed on this session, though, is we haven't taken a deep enough dive to help our public education. I mean, Hope's great, but the fact is 90+% of our kids are still in public education. I think we've done not a great job. We need to do a much deeper dive to help those folks. I think part of what I hear complaints about in public education, that the regulations are so cumbersome, it's hard to get out from underneath that. So, you know, hopefully we do a much better deep dive and put a spotlight and focus on that over the next coming year and fix some of those issues. But
we keep punting on that, though, Tom. Yeah. It appears to me we've heard about special session after special session. It's never happened. Yet when I look at those numbers in terms of funding versus need, there's about 12 counties that are right on the bubble of being the next Hancock. Let's just face it, being the next Hancock County. Are we finally going to have a special session and come together and figure this out? Is that going to happen or no?
I would love to see that happen. That's gonna be a tough lift. You're not going to get universal acceptance on any one idea. It's going to have to be driven, in my opinion, from top leadership down, and you're going to have to be willing to make some tough decisions. But we need to get this right. We need to get things fixed and looking at the future. And again, it goes back to that, you know, if everybody would quit worrying about if they're going to get elected again and really take a deep dive to think about what can we do to make sure our kids' future have the best foundation and footing moving forward, it's not as difficult a problem.
Kanawha County Senator Tom Takubo. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We knew we'd get you before day 60.
Yeah,
we had to track you down eventually.
Always a pleasure being here, guys.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Thanks.
Coming up, we'll get to some of your texts a little bit later on. U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito will join us. This is Talkline from the AARP broadcast location. We're back in a moment.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Since 1926, the West Virginia Hospital Association has been the collective voice of our state's hospitals. With a shared vision of strengthening communities, improving lives, and supporting our state's economic well-being, our member hospitals work every day to provide high-quality, accessible care. This year, we celebrate 100 years of a unified voice and our ongoing commitment to supporting our members in achieving a strong, healthy West Virginia.
A message from the West Virginia Hospital Association, online at wvha.org.
Coal-based generation remains the backbone of West Virginia's energy portfolio, ensuring reliability, security, and affordable electricity throughout the region. Our coal plants are engineered for performance, designed to run most efficiently at or near a 70% capacity factor. This level of operation is not arbitrary. It's based on sound engineering principles, scientific analysis, and has been formally adopted by the West Virginia Legislature as a reasonable target for optimal performance. When our coal fleet operates near that benchmark, it provides stable power to the grid, maintains cost efficiency, and supports thousands of good-paying jobs across our state. Coal generation also drives local tax revenue that sustains schools, infrastructure, and community services. Working in partnership with state leaders and the Trump administration, we're ensuring that our coal fleet remains modern, efficient, and ready to power West Virginia and beyond for decades to come. This message brought to you by the West Virginia Coal Association and Friends of Coal.
If you have a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone that does, please listen up. Here's your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, tuition, and fees. The 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. The deadline is May 3rd. For details, go to wvmetronews.com to apply. That's wvmetronews.com. Remember, application deadline is May 3rd.
Every day in West Virginia, we play for something bigger.
As a mom, I play for her education.
I play because it helps provide care for the ones who care for us.
I play to help keep our parks beautiful.
Why I play? Because every play supports West Virginia's future, our students, our seniors, and our state parks. For 40 years, proceeds from the West Virginia Lottery have totaled nearly $13.7 billion. I play. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Hello, West Virginia. I'm 13 News, and tonight,
leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at wvhtf.org.
Across West Virginia, hospitals are always here, healing, helping, and standing strong for our communities. Hospitals save lives and build livelihoods. They're among our largest employers, with a passionate workforce of 54,000 West Virginians. Hospitals are economic drivers, contributing close to $17 billion to our state's economy and working to ensure access to care for all. From life-saving moments to wellness support, West Virginia hospitals keep our state healthy, our families strong, and our future bright.
New year, new trucks. Start your year off with a new truck from Kanawha Toyota World. Now lease a 2025 Tacoma for as low as $299 a month. Save over $7,500 off on select Tundras or get 2.99% for 72 months. It's your last chance to get a gas model 2025 RAV4. Don't miss out. Come experience cars you can count on year after year. Kanawha Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the road.
Hardwood Heat meets the Mountain State in Charleston. The 2026 West Virginia Girls High School Basketball State Championships, presented by Chick-fil-A. Saturday, March 14th. Every possession, every roar of the crowd, every championship moment live on Metro News Television, powered by GoMart. Watch on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Details at WVMetroNewsTV.com to get in the action.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more. Encova.com to learn more.
Welcome back to the AARP broadcast location, Upper Rotunda of the West Virginia State Capitol. If you or someone you know is a high school junior in West Virginia, listen up, because it's your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, tuition, and fees. The 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. The deadline is May 3rd. For details, go to WVMetroNews.com to apply. That's WVMetroNews.com. Click the Apply Now button in the upper right-hand corner. The deadline to apply is May 3rd. Coming up, I'm going to talk to U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito. She's going to join us. We'll get the latest from Washington, D.C. Her thoughts on the war with Iran. Yesterday, TJ, heard President Trump say everything about the war. It is both close to being over, but yet the worst is yet to come. Somehow, he said everything about everything, and then the stock market rebound at the very end of the day. So
it's all over the place, frankly. They've never been good at one voice. If you juxtapose what Hegseth is saying versus what Trump is saying. Meanwhile, New York Times this morning reporting that, look, they still have, they being Iran, about 50% of their stockpile of missiles. So
that's 50% less than they had.
That's less than they had, but if we went in, why not get them all?
Yes.
That's one of the questions I want to pose to the senator.
Well, that is one of the questions we'll bring up. U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito going to join us coming up here after the bottom of the hour. Also, we will get into Senate Bill 420. Yes, we've talked about it at length, but Jim Bailey, West Virginia Energy Users Group, going to join us in the second hour of Talkline. Spent a lot of time in the Energy Committee yesterday. There were a lot of questions about that bill. Like you said, not on the agenda as of right now, and that bill may end up dying over on the House side. At least its future does not look bright on that side.
I will say this. After how many ever years in the energy industry, I don't know that I have ever seen a piece of legislation, a regulatory rule, anything that can bring together the utilities, the PSC, the end users, the consumer advocates, and a bunch of other different constituency groups together like this has. They are all firmly in lockstep against it, and that's a first. I've never seen that many groups agree on any energy policy the way this has brought people together, believe it or not, that are against it.
We'll get Jim Bailey's perspective coming up a little bit later on. Okay, a couple of other bills we are watching casually here at the state legislature. The bill, this has gotten across the House. It's never gotten through the Senate, but a bill that would require age verification to look at explicit websites, up for passage in the, and we're talking about porn, up for passage in the, let's be blunt, up for passage over in the Senate today. School aid formula bill that would make changes goes to Senate Finance, and they are still talking about the transfer bill in Senate Education this morning. So there's your quick update on bills we are watching. We'll talk to Senator Shelley Moore Capito coming up in the next segment. Just got to note she's running a little bit behind, but we will accommodate the senator. We'll talk to her. Brad McElhenney will join us before the day is over as well. 304-TALK, 304 is the text line, and 800-765-TALK. That's the phone number, but I highly recommend you text today. This is Talkline on Metro News. Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Metro News, I'm Jeff Jenkins. State Public Service Commission Chair Charlotte Lane says it will be very difficult to implement a bill that would require coal-fired power plants to burn at 69% capacity. It's a bill the Senate passed and now the House Energy Committee is considering. Lane testified before the committee Monday evening.
Every delegate in here that has asked questions about this bill have highlighted the problems with the bill. And heaven only knows, if this bill passes, how I could interpret it at the Public Service Commission, because I don't know that I could.
Metro News statewide correspondent Brad McElhinney writes more about the discussion at WVMetroNews.com. We'll hear what Governor Patrick Morrisey has to say this hour, a little more than 4 days before the end of the 60-day session. The governor has a ceremonial bill signing at the Capitol, and he's taking questions from reporters. The House of Delegates Finance Committee still hasn't taken up a tax cut bill that Morrisey has been pushing for. The first game of the girls' high school basketball tournament's underway this morning in Charleston. Charleston's CVB Chief Tim Brady says this is a great time of year.
All of those people are staying in hotels. All of those people are eating in restaurants, and there's your economic impact.
All of the games on Metro News Radio. The championship game Saturday on Metro News Television. Every game has a game story with video and photo galleries at WVMetroNews.com. Some of the teams in action during the next 2 weeks will have transfers on them, students taking advantage of a 3-year-old provision. The State Senate Education Committee considering this morning the House passed bill that would repeal the more liberal transfer provision. You're listening to Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Hi, I'm Eli Henthorne, project surveyor at CEC. Starting my career at CEC was the best decision I ever made. I wanted to explore new areas in land surveying, and CEC offered just that. I've grown so much serving diverse markets and rapidly advancing my career, and it's more than just work. CEC is like family, supporting me every step of the way. CEC is where your career takes flight. At CEC, we engineer progress in the great state of West Virginia.
Find out what CEC can do for you. Visit cecinc.com.
Worried about paying for college? Metro News is proud to present the 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program, where one high school junior in West Virginia will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan College, including room, board, tuition, and fees. For details, go to WVMetroNews.com and click the Apply Now button. Deadline is May 3rd. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program, presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to WVMetroNews.com and apply today by May 3rd.
The National Weather Service says some high temperature marks could fall today in West Virginia. We're headed for the mid to upper 70s. Some severe weather is possible tomorrow, with highs expected to hit the low 80s. WVU's Honor Huff is honorable mention All Big 12, the only Mountaineer to pick up postseason honors. West Virginia's in Kansas City, set to play tomorrow night. The winner of tonight's game between BYU and Kansas State, that tip-off tomorrow night, is set for 7 o'clock in the Big 12 tournament. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Jeff Jenkins.
We're at the AARP broadcast location, Upper Rotunda of the West Virginia State Capitol. U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito is scheduled to join us from D.C. coming up momentarily. The 2026 high school basketball state tournaments are underway. The girls tournament tipping off this morning. Metro News is your exclusive radio home for all 56 games. Plus, we will have radio and television coverage on the Metro News TV app of all 8 boys and girls championship games. Comprehensive pregame, postgame, highlights, recaps, all available at WVMetroNews.com all week long. By the way, action over at the Charleston Coliseum this morning. The St. Mary's Blue Devils up on Pocahontas County 54-18. That game in the fourth quarter. Laney Watkins, 25 points. Brindley Bullock, 18 for my Blue Devils. Headed on to the semifinals, which will be Thursday for Class Single A.
That's an impressive margin.
Yes, it is. Yeah, you'll have.
Was that expected? Was that expected?
St. Mary's is a very good team this year.
Gotcha.
Very good team this year. And that's just game one of 56 the next couple of weeks. So we got you covered. Joe Braccato, Greg Carey will have you all covered over at WVMetroNews.com. I want to go back to something Tom Takubo mentioned. You could tell there was some frustration there in his voice. But looking at every piece of legislation that comes through here, and I think that's a pretty good metric to look at. Look at it through the lens of, does this help educate the kids? Does this encourage people to stay here? Does this grow the economy? And if you look at every piece of legislation through that lens, I'm not saying it has to check all the boxes, but probably 2 or 3, you're going to pass some good stuff in general. And again, we're broad brushes here, right? But if you're using that as the lens by which you judge legislation, or at least try to score it, we'd have a lot better legislation coming out of here on a more consistent basis if everybody kind of looked at it that way.
Tom's in the camp of, and he's the leader of the camp of traditional conservatives, which is economic development, business-friendly legislation, stay out of people's personal lives. You can't legislate morality. We've done and handled a lot of the social issues already. And what we're gearing toward now, for those that still want to focus on the social side, is a very far-right agenda that, frankly, doesn't do much. It's red meat for a campaign, but economically, to your point, we're falling behind while we focus on these other things. And that's what you're going to see in this upcoming election. Those are the kinds of people that Thomas went out and tried to recruit. Greg Thomas is out recruiting. We've talked many times. And that's the choice they want to give voters. Do you want to focus on economy? Do you want to focus on business? Here's your group of people for that versus the social issues. It'll be a fascinating election.
Look, let me say for the record, I don't think we spent a lot of time on the social issues this year. Certainly not as much as last year. We're not talking about vaccine mandates.
Fair.
True, there have been a couple blips that have come up, but it certainly hasn't taken the air out of the room as it did last year. Yes, there was the machine gun bill. Yes, there was the cabaret bill. But last year, those kinds of subjects just took all the air out of the room. Now, that doesn't mean they're hitting home runs. I think that home run is sitting in the Economic Development Committee on the Senate side right at the moment. But I think we've maybe taken a small step in the direction you were talking about. And maybe that's just because, well, there's nothing else to be done at this point.
There is extreme pressure in the Senate right now not to run that bill, which boggles my mind. Team West Virginia. Why would you not run that? I'll leave it there.
We'll get back to that coming up in just a little bit. 304-TALK, 304 is the text line. U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito is joining us from Washington, D.C. The partial government shutdown that includes the Department of Homeland Security continues, plus the military operations in Iran. Senator Capito, good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning.
Appreciate you taking some time. Yesterday, President Trump said both that the war with Iran was close to an end, but the worst was yet to come. What do you make of the statement that it's close to being finished, but yet it could still intensify?
Well, I think that the president has expressed, and I think in what he was saying yesterday, and a thought that is shared by Americans is this needs to be short and effective. And I think he originally said 4 to 5 weeks. I think he's obviously looking for a way to annihilate their ability to attack us and others successfully. I don't think he thinks we're there yet, so I think that explains the worst is yet to come. Probably now that their attacks have moved down, their missile attacks or drone attacks from Iran are way down. We can actually control the airspace and actually make more effective strikes. So I think that's the worst is yet to come, but I do see that he is signaling that he knows that this is a short-term thing, and he's trying to frame when the exit plan is, and I have a feeling it will be in the next several weeks.
There was credible reporting over the weekend, Senator, that the president was at least considering troops on the ground. Would you support that?
You know, I don't think the American people support troops on the ground, and I've actually vocalized that I don't want American troops in danger anywhere. But I think the president and his advisors, and we certainly got this in the briefings that we've had, they don't want to take anything off the table, and so I think that's what the president is reflecting, that any kind of arsenal that he has, so to speak, he's going to keep at the ready, and that would include troops on the ground. But I don't think that's the direction that we're going to go, and I certainly, at this point, I hope not.
U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito is joining us. We are live at the state capitol at the AARP broadcast location. Senator, from the briefings you have been a part of and the information that's been presented to you, what was the reasoning for getting into this conflict at this time?
You know, I think that it's something that's been building for years. You hear some comments of, why did we wait so long? Some comments of, why are we even there? So it's all over the board. But what I know, and I think has been in the public space, is Iran was developing not just nuclear weapons, but these missiles and ballistic missile systems that could be effective anywhere and everywhere. And I think that was probably the greater concern than the enrichment of the nuclear fuel, and at that point. And so I think that the president, and obviously talking with the Israelis, decided that the timeliness was now. The Israelis did say, I think I read this too, that all the leaders were going to be in one spot on a Saturday morning. Good time to make an attack. And so I don't know if that drove the final decision, but I think it played into it. I think that also I think that as you see Iran reaching out and attacking Saudi Arabia and UAE and Bahrain and Qatar and trying to attack Turkey, they're willing to attack anyone in the neighborhood. And I think that shows you the brutality of that regime and how they're trying to hang on. So the timing of it, I think, was probably done when we had because we had all our forces there. We were in a posture where we could be the most effective, and that's why you saw the president said it's time to go now.
New York Times this morning reporting that we've taken out about 50% of that missile stockpile. First, could you confirm that number based on what you've been told? Second, does that need to be at zero as one of the metrics for withdrawal? In other words, we get them all before we leave.
I don't have that actual number. I don't know that I've seen a certified list of where we are, but that goes along with what I've heard. I also think that we need to continue to disable those ballistic missile possibilities, and I think that means taking out their missiles, taking out their manufacturing places where they manufacture these missiles. You could see there's been some questioning as to whether is Iran using a $1,500 drone and we're batting it down with a $7 million missile defense system. We're not doing that. I mean, we were maybe in the beginning using some of our more precise, more expensive weapons. We've learned a lot, and so we're fighting. A lot of it's drone against drone here, and it's very sophisticated.
U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito joining us from D.C. We are live at the West Virginia State Capitol in the Upper Rotunda at the AARP broadcast location. Senator, do you believe these operations ultimately make Americans safer?
I think yes, because I think if the world is safer, Americans are safer. We've already seen the disruptions that this can cause in terms of families and people that are residing in the Middle East, or they're Americans visiting, or our official embassies and ambassadors and foreign service officers are being evacuated. We need a safe Middle East. We know that the Iranians are funding Hezbollah. We know they fund Hamas that attacked Israel on October the 7th, killed thousands of innocent people. We know that they fund the Houthis in Yemen that are attacking our naval vessels as they're going through in the normal course of commerce. So yes, taking out the Iranian regime that is from the day they're born, it's death to America, will make America safer.
Oil prices have surged.
Right.
What do you say, and that's domestically and globally, what do you say to Americans who are trying to watch their pennies, frankly, at the pump versus the war effort?
I mean, I'm very sensitive to gas prices, and I think every West Virginian is, because we hear from them quite frequently. You see it, you feel it in your everyday life. And it's gone up over the last week and a half, incrementally, not just by a few cents here or there. And so that's attributable to the price of oil. So that's why we need the Straits of Hormuz to be open, that we need to have them free for commerce, for oil to free flow. I think we also realize, too, we're more energy independent than a lot of other countries around the world. So what we're seeing is probably a smaller blip on the screen than what may be seeing in other countries, but it's still more than a blip. And I think, in this time of affordability, when we have food prices that are high and energy prices that are high, we need to keep our gas prices low. I know the president's looking at this. They've talked about tapping the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. I don't think he's going in that direction, because I think he's hopeful, and I am too, that we can secure these vessels that are coming in and out and be able to reach a stable price per barrel that will bring our gas prices down. We know it can happen, and I'm hoping that's the direction we go. These are very volatile prices, and for them to go up so fast in 10 days is, I think, is emblematic of how volatile they are and how they're tagged to the price of a barrel. So I know that Chris Wright, our energy secretary, and others are doing what they can to get our oil tankers moving as fast as they can to help us here at the pump.
U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito joining us, MetroNews Talkline. Meanwhile, there is a partial government shutdown continuing, the DHS shutdown. Are we making any progress toward an agreement to get that resolved?
I can't for the life of me understand what the strategy is here with the Democrats and Chuck Schumer are basically holding our Department of Homeland Security hostage. Last week it was, well, we won't vote for it until Kristi Noem's no longer there. Well, she's no longer there. And so we have a vote on Thursday, and they all vote no. And then we have a terrorist attack in New York yesterday or the day before that we see is ISIS, homegrown ISIS here with rhetoric. These are the kinds of things that you pick up from CISA, the cybersecurity folks that are within Homeland Security. You see reports over the weekend where New Orleans and I believe Houston or Dallas, 3-hour lines at the TSA. This is because the Democrats are holding Homeland Security hostage. So let me just kind of back up a little bit. We had a bill that was agreed to by Republicans and Democrats that had revisions in it for body cameras and de-escalation training for ICE and all of the things that the Democrats now say they need and want. That's in that bill that they keep voting against. So I think they are willing to hold the American public hostage. And we know it's FEMA. It's also Coast Guard. I think it's a bad strategy, but it's hurting people. And especially now, we just need to make the vote, reopen the Homeland Security, and get it restarted so that we can read these encrypted communications and other things that are so very important to us.
In your mind, are the Democrats flirting with disaster? I mean, we're talking about TSA, we're talking about screening. People get tired of not getting a paycheck, Senator. They're not going to do their best when they're not getting paid. That goes for the Coast Guard. That goes for the other enforcement agencies that are part of DHS. Are they flirting with a disaster here? Is it going to take something of epic proportion to get them to back off? I mean, do we actually have to have an incident to get them to back off and support funding for DHS?
Well, let's look at this is the second shutdown that's been caused by the Democrats and Chuck Schumer, and these folks didn't go for a paycheck for 42 days in October and November. Now we're fast forwarded in just a smaller section of federal workers, but a critical one to our Homeland Security. Have already everybody in that under Homeland Security has missed a full paycheck. People say, "Oh, can't you live without a full paycheck?" No, I think it's pretty standard that most Americans can't live without one paycheck. They live paycheck to paycheck, and I think federal workers are no different. And so, yes, we could have a natural disaster where FEMA wouldn't be able to react. We could have something at our airports, which we see temporarily happening with TSA. Let's just look at it. It's spring break. It's Easter. It's going to be a lot of travelers out there. And, frustration at the TSA line. Apparently, when they were going to, I believe it was New Orleans, they were told on the system that it was going to be a 15-minute wait, and they get there, it's 3 hours. And I can imagine the heated, by the time you get to the front of the line, you're pretty ticked off. So, we're flirting with a disaster here, not just a physical disaster, but, these are people that are there to protect us. They do great jobs. Secret Service is another one. We need to have them at full board and with their full attention, and holding their paychecks does cause a distraction, and it also is a morale buster for all of these agencies as well as the country.
U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito, we appreciate the time this morning. Thank you very much.
Okay, you guys enjoy the Capitol.
Will do. We'll be back to the state Capitol in a moment.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
President Trump is right. America's electric grid needs to be fixed now.
When you have a grid system in this country that's obsolete and a disaster, it can't produce the electricity, it can't distribute the electricity.
For West Virginia, obsolete means power outages and lost opportunities. That's why more than 6,000 West Virginians signed a petition urging state leaders to support President Trump's call to fix our grid. Learn more at powerwvnow.org. Paid for by West Virginians for reliable and affordable energy.
When my shift ends, I hang up my hard hat and head home, proud of the work we're doing here in West Virginia. Natural gas is more than energy. It's jobs, investment, and opportunity across our state. We put safety first and deliver reliable energy families and businesses count on. For families like my future, West Virginia Natural Gas, fueling communities today and building tomorrow.
This message is brought to you by the Gas and Oil Association of West Virginia.
At Glenville State University, we are pioneers. With over 45 undergraduate degree programs, 17 NCAA athletic teams, and countless campus organizations and activities, we're here to help you build your story while becoming a part of ours. Glenville State University, your dream, your future, your story. Visit glenville.edu today for more information.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
When I was heavy,
MetroNews Hotline with Dave Weekly.
Seemed like torture.
All right, Kathy Mattea joins me now.
Here I am. I'm just going to be like this for the rest of my life. But then I thought, I'm done acting like that. I'm not going to be like that anymore. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 265 pounds. It's always been my goal to have my own place. I want everyone to feel welcome here. I would never have been able to do all these things before without WVU Medicine.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
All the sports West Virginia is talking about.
Nikki Izzo-Brown, coach of the nationally ranked WVU women's soccer team.
I think they're just having a very good understanding of each other.
Join Kyle Wiggs, Brett Howe, and Coach Hunter weeknights for Sportsline on Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at wvmetronewstv.com.
On the next State of Minds. I came here to Morgantown, the WVU. I wanted to play football. Tried to walk on, but I was humbled very quickly. So I joined the WVU forestry team. What my father taught me was the importance of hard work and the importance of sweat equity.
MetroNews Talkline. MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Jackpots are growing in West Virginia. Jackpots are on the rise every week. Powerball hits Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Mega Millions lights up Tuesdays and Fridays. That's 5 chances a week to get in on life-changing jackpots. Play in-store and online. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. The Powerball jackpot is $58 million. The Mega Millions jackpot is $533 million. So go ahead, play today. It's a final over at the Charleston Civic Center and Coliseum. St. Mary's over Pocahontas County 65-28 in the Class A quarterfinal. So St. Mary's on to the semifinals. Game 2 coming up just a little bit from over there. We've got full coverage, of course, at WVMetroNews.com. We were just talking to Delegate David McCormick right before the break. He's very excited. His vape, we just call it vape bill for short, but this would regulate the vape industry. Looks like it's going to get a little technical change to it over in the Senate, but it looks like it's headed toward the finish line here down the last couple of days.
He's a happy camper. If that gets through. He's been a huge proponent of it. Dave, I'm also hearing, remember the Senate put forward that $22 million tax on vape.
Yes.
I'm hearing that could survive.
They could put a $220 million tax on vape for all I care. Pass it.
No, I'm for it. I don't see, if you're going to tax cigarettes,
yes,
I don't see how you can not tax vape. It's an equity issue.
Yeah,
it's an equity issue.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree with you. And, we could use the revenue. 304-TALK, 304, that's the text line. Take our final break. We're back in a moment.
Building a stronger West Virginia mission.
The High Technology Foundation. The High Technology Foundation is the key. For diversity is the key. To transforming the state's economic landscape. Conveniently located in the heart of West Virginia. Innovation, growth, opportunity, all under one roof. There's no need to look far for change. It's happening right here at the High Technology Foundation in North Central West Virginia. Visit WVHTF.org to learn more.
The WVU Medicine Medical and Surgical Weight Loss Center offers a comprehensive surgical program to help you obtain a healthy weight and improve your quality of life. Our nationally recognized bariatrics program has a strong focus on pre-surgery education and long-term weight loss after surgery. We're here to help you every step of the way. Reserve your spot at the next free, no-obligation information session by calling 304-293-1728.
Hospitals drive West Virginia's economy. They produce jobs and create opportunities while keeping our communities healthy. Employing nearly 54,000 people, West Virginia hospitals rank among our state's largest and most dependable employers. They provide more than $1 billion in community benefits and generate nearly $17 billion in total economic impact each year. Hospitals are investing where it counts, advancing health, ensuring access to care, and powering West Virginia's economic future.
A message from the West Virginia Hospital Association, online at WVHA.org.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
President Trump is right. America's electric grid needs to be fixed now.
When you have a grid system in this country that's obsolete and a disaster, it can't produce the electricity, it can't distribute the electricity.
For West Virginia, obsolete means power outages and lost opportunities. That's why more than 6,000 West Virginians signed a petition urging state leaders to support President Trump's call to fix our grid. Learn more at powerwvnow.org. Paid for by West Virginians for reliable and affordable energy.
It all comes down to this in Charleston. The 2026 West Virginia Boys High School Basketball State Championships presented by Chick-fil-A. Saturday, March 21st. Every possession, every roar of the crowd, every championship moment. Live on Metro News Television, powered by GoMart. Watch on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Details at WVMetroNewsTV.com to get in the action.
Quick first hour. We'll see how quickly the second hour goes. Delegate Adam Burkhammer going to be joining us. Brad McElhenney as well. This is Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. Hoppy Kercheval, 5:55 a.m. How early did you get in that day, by the way?
Probably 3:30.
How long did you do sign-on shift?
I signed on like 7 years.
Not all.
6 days a week for 7 years.
Lightweight.
I know. Couldn't do it now. Now when I wake up at 3:30 to go to the bathroom. And go back to bed.
Welcome to the 2 o'clock hour, Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com on a Wednesday, and I apologize because Stephanie Pauly is our producer, one of the producers of the show, and normally she has everything. We have a thing we call the run sheet, when we have who we're calling and what we're doing and so on. And so and Stephanie, I don't even know whether you know this, I did the run sheet today, and I put the wrong date on. I put 2025 on it, because how many of us in modern day actually write the date out anymore? I mean, you did it when you were in school, you did it back when people wrote checks and whatever. This may have been the first day that I have written the date down, and I was responsible for putting together the sheet. And my co-host, the lovely and talented AB, starts the show by saying January 24th, 2025, because she read it directly off the sheet. And it is indeed the year of our Lord, 2026.
Oh, yeah, he did find something out. Something, you're related to Thomas Jefferson?
Well, no, I'm not related to Thomas Jefferson, but I am related to Samuel Kercheval, who was a historian.
I'm going to tell you something about Samuel Kercheval. Him and Jefferson out smoking corn silk. Kercheval told him, Thomas, I don't know about this country. Might want to start again.
He could.
So I don't have a monitor here, so I really can't see what happens at the beginning of the show. Mm-hmm. So at what point do I pop up? When the music starts and Mr. Announcer comes on?
Yeah.
So they see all the little panic things that I do that I'm still in the process of setting up?
Yes. They see you shuffle about uncomfortably. They see you blow the dust off your headphones. They see you put in like 2 cough drops at the same time.
Oh, yeah. I don't do 2 at the same time. Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't know that. I should probably. Now, these shows are archived, right? So I can go back and watch them.
Yes.
So I could live this show in real time and then go home and, when I say something to Linda like, hey, did you hear when I did this? And I don't watch it. Well, let's get in front of the TV and watch me do it again for 3 straight hours.
Yes, it's archived just like the audio podcast.
Ah, that's right.
And see, this is the thing that gets the NCAA in trouble. Excuse me. When it goes to court here, is there a clock or not? Greg, we talk about the clock all the time. Mm-hmm. If he began in 2019, the clock should have run out, whether he's played the 4 years or not. And that's part of the argument, because some guys go right through the clock, right? TJ Finley, we've mentioned many times on this show. 7th team coming up this year. He's playing for Incarnate Word. He's played 7 seasons at 7 different schools. Now, why hasn't his clock started? Why doesn't he have the 5-year clock? So if you're Aguilar, I get it.
He just bouncing him off the ropes. Somebody save this man. Oh, my Lord. Oh. Very nice, very nice. He hit him with everything he didn't want.
Yeah. 10 seconds remaining. Going to be a direct snap here.
Snap back. It's Tyler. Tyler fakes the run. He throws. He's got an open man. Pass top 10. 5. End zone. It's a touchdown. Pulled in by Nestor. 3 seconds left.
Are you kidding me with the play call right there by Kevin Whiteman? Again, forget the game-winning field goal. Whiteman says, we're going to try and win this thing right now. The direct snap to Tyler sucked everybody up, and Nestor slips behind. What an unbelievable gutsy play call, and then perfect execution by these Falcons.
Things aren't always going to be great. And sometimes, you can work really, really hard and it's still not great. You're still not successful. But, if you continue to do it, one way or another, things are going to be, work out. You're going to be successful. And it may not be in the world's eyes, but, God's made us this way. He's blessed us with so many things. And I think that's one of our attributes that we need to have is we're going to continue to work. We're going to continue to work hard. And if it doesn't work out exactly how we want, just keep plugging away because God's got better plans.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Second hour of MetroNews Talkline. We are live at the Upper Rotunda of the West Virginia State Capitol at the AARP broadcast location. Final week of the 60-day legislative session. Dave and TJ. Ethan Collins is our audio producer. If you're listening in on one of our great radio affiliates across the state of West Virginia, Stephanie Pauley handles the video on site. She ships it back to Jake Link, who is at Master Control in Morgantown, and then he spits it out to you if you're watching on the MetroNews TV app and on YouTube and Facebook Live. Coming up this hour, we'll talk to Jim Bailey. He's with West Virginia Energy Users Group. We'll get into Senate Bill 420 and some other energy policy as well. Wayne Ryan, SSAC Executive Director, he just walked by. Senate Education Committee finally got wrapped up. We'll talk to him. Talked about basketball and the transfer rule. Brad McElhenney joins us as well. Got all that, TJ?
I got it all.
Second hour. Joining us from Lewis County is Delegate Adam Burkhammer. Yesterday, House Bill 4730, which aligned West Virginia with President Trump's executive order in 2025, meant to improve outcomes for children and youth transitioning out of foster care, passed through the Senate, completing its legislative path toward the governor's desk. Delegate Burkhammer has long been a champion of foster care, CPS, and some of the changes that need to be made. He joins us here at the AARP broadcast location. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Feel good? See that bill get to completion?
Yeah, that was good to get that one across the line, get it to the governor's desk. We've got several more in the queue that are on the Senate agenda. So still got a lot of things in motion, so we're keeping an eye on it because the system is really complex. So one bill doesn't fix it all. The bill you mentioned obviously fixes one portion of it, but we're trying to tackle all areas of it.
Just remind folks what that bill does.
Yeah, so that's an independent living, transitional living bill. So as kids are coming into their aging out, so their 18th birthday, they're going to be aging out of foster care. They haven't been adopted, so they're really not attached to a family. They don't have that permanency like a lot of kids do. So they're trying to launch into adulthood, and I think if we all think about our 18th birthday and beyond, we really leaned on our family quite a bit, financially as well as just the life decisions and directions. So the data is really clear that those kids aging out that don't have that permanent home and that family that's going to give them guidance, they end up homeless, they end up incarcerated. I believe it's the state of California. They use that data point is how they fund some of their corrections budget, because they know that is a direct channel into their corrections and into their jails and prisons. So this bill goes to tackle that, to say we want to create this continuum and this coordination of services. So when those kids are aging out, they may not have a family, but we're going to give them a caseworker, we're going to give them some subsidy, we're going to give them a home to live in, we're going to get them attached to a job, we're going to set them up for success as an adult. So I think it's a big win.
If we don't, we're going to pay for it in the long run anyway.
That's exactly right. So again, when you look at it, sometimes there's some dollars that go with it, but you can either pay for it there and get them into the workforce. Now they're paying taxes, all of that good stuff, or you can start to pay for it when they struggle through mental health, they struggle with addiction, now they're homeless, now they're in jail, and then ultimately we're paying for it on that back end. So let's give them an edge up here right out of the gate and set them up for success.
Lewis County Delegate Adam Burkhammer joining us here on MetroNews Talkline. Which bills do you want to see join that one and get across the line this session?
Well, there's several out there. Again, we've talked about the complexity of the system and working through it. So we've really been working on a voucher program and streamlining that. So right now we're still handing out paper vouchers for our foster families. Those paper vouchers are only good for GABES. So they have to go to GABES and try to, and it's a one trip only process. So we're trying to create more like an EBT card set up, that there's approved expenditures and you've got a card and you can kind of use those funds. So there's just a process there that we're trying to streamline and really get up to date and get rid of the paper side of that.
Why are they good for only one vendor?
So looking back over the years, I really haven't been able to find a good answer to that, other than maybe there were some payment issues with Target and Walmart and some of those.
Okay.
So it came down to it was limited to one store. When you think about there's not a Gabe's in every community like there is a Walmart or a Target. So we're really trying to make it a little easier on foster families to care for kids, and that, you know, that bill there. Another bill that's really important to me, we've got a large community of our kinship So about 50% of our cases in West Virginia are kinship. So that's a lot of grandmas, aunts and uncles, brothers and sisters that are taking care of their kids. Right now they get a lower subsidy, and so we're trying to get that subsidy up and equal to that of a foster parent. And there's been some federal changes that have allowed us to maybe do that. So we're really trying to push and work through that process as well. We've got a really good prevention bill. So when we're talking about getting upstream in the foster care system, so why is West Virginia, the worst ranking state in kids per capita that are leaving the home? So we want to get upstream, stabilize the family in the home. So we've got a really good prevention bill that aligns with the Family First Prevention Act on the federal side. We think that can be a game changer as well. When it's healthy and safe to keep a kid in a home, let's get them the services there and not just continually to funnel kids into the child welfare system. So yeah, a lot of good stuff.
A lot of these sound very commonsensical. Make it easier for foster parents to get the things they need by opening it up to other vendors, keeping kids with family as safely and as much as possible. These are very common sense ideas. I mean, this isn't reinventing the wheel, is it, Adam?
It is not, but as you can see, we're getting unanimous support when all this stuff's leaving the House. We're getting unanimous support coming out of the Senate, and I really believe the governor's going to get on board with it. But it's just taken us a little bit to get here, to get all of that support rallied, and to kind of work through all the complexities of it. There's a lot of federal dollars coming in, so I'm always trying to make sure we're not jeopardizing that through the reimbursement process. So a lot of moving parts, but I think we're finally there. We're going to start seeing some change.
Our friend Amelia Nicely reports on this issue quite a bit. Folks can read her work at West Virginia Watch. One of the issues she talks about is out-of-state foster care children that we have put into various institutions for, I'm sure, at the time, were good reasons. How close are we to bringing those foster children home to West Virginia?
Yeah, so fully supportive of the governor's initiative to bring them home fund. So I'm hoping to get that bill across the line. The House passed it. I'll be honest with you, I've lost track of where it's at in the Senate. Is that the magic wand? No, but that is a start into building the capacity in state. So that's where the problem lies, is we just don't have the capacity in state for with foster families as well as the facilities or the group homes, because those are what they would call high acuity kids. So sometimes there's some behaviors there that are tough to manage. So we've got to have the right setting for that, and but we've got to have the capacity in state, which I think is just a win-win. Once you get kids back home, you get them closer to family, more likely to get them out of an institution or facility into a home, which has been proven to be the most success for any child. But then, we're talking about West Virginia jobs and putting people to work. So I think that's a win-win. I think that's a start to it. So I'm hoping we can get that bill across the line as well.
We're talking to Delegate Adam Burkhammer. We need more foster families in West Virginia. Obviously, we have more foster children. We need more foster families. Are some of the bills you've talked about, are those ways that will help recruit and encourage families to get involved?
Well, I think one of the issues is we have so many kids in care. So people are just kind of burnt out. I'll speak on my family. We are maxed out. So we have adopted 4 kids, and we're fostering 2 more and have 2 biological kids. So we're
You're
done.
busy.
Yeah, my wife's busy. I'm down here talking to you guys. But so, right, you've lost a family now because there's just so many kids that are coming into care. So, again, we've got to get upstream, turn that faucet off. But we can better support our foster families, again, with the voucher program. But one of the other issues that a lot of foster families come into is they don't kind of understand the complexity of it and how long it is. So a lot of families that I know, they come in, they take 1 or 2 cases and they quit. They just say, I can't do it. I can't put myself through it or my family through it. So there's even been some efforts. We're trying to get better communication, better coordination. Families just feel in the dark all the time. And now we're starting to get over into the court side of things because the ultimate decisions are in the court. So when we talk about that complexity of trying to weave them things together, now we've got to get the courts on board with it. So we've got some bills to try to speed up some of that process when we can. We've got a bill that's on Senate Judiciary today. It's a guardianship bill. It's going to be great for kids, great for families, just kind of an alternative to speed things up. So that, because I would tell you, some of the cases last 18 months, 2 years plus, and that's just a strain on families. And so they ultimately quit. So we've got to figure out how we can better support our families, communicate with them, make them feel like they're part of the team, and I think they'll stick around and help in this crisis.
There should be a bar, but is it too hard to become a foster parent and too hard to remain a foster parent, in your opinion?
I don't think so. I don't think we want to lower the standards out there. I mean, I'll say there's always a streamlining of things, because and it's already gotten better. When we first started, we were handwriting everything. We're now utilizing technology, so things kind of streamline through the process. But I think when we're talking about vulnerable kids and coming into your home, I think there needs to be a definite safety standard, and I think there needs to be a good training for families who are dealing with kids that have been through a lot of trauma, and how to do that. I'm not really supportive of lowering many of the standards, because I think parents need to be better equipped when they're stepping into this.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. Make it easier by streamlining, making the process easier. Maintain the standards, but
that's exactly right.
All of the rigmarole,
Yeah.
as some would say. Streamline that process. Why did you guys get involved?
You know, my wife and I, we have 2 older kids, and we were at a point we weren't having kids ourselves anymore, and we just thought we had bedrooms in our home and that we could help, and we realized that it was a crisis. We knew some other families that had been through the process and adopted, so we got involved in 2020. We started fostering and then adopted from there, and then have continued to foster and ultimately adopt through the process. So,
someone who's thinking about it, but they're not sure, is it okay to try it?
I would say we need to sit down and talk about it first, so that you can understand the good and the bad. It has been the most life-changing thing my wife and I have ever done on a lot of fronts, and so it has given us purpose in life that I don't think anything else aside from my faith has ever given. But it has come with challenges. I mean, we've sat and cried together. We've talked about quitting. We've seen the troubles of it. We've been yelled at and talked bad to, and all of that stuff. And so I just always want to make sure families are aware of what they're getting into, because I think that's what leads to them quitting early on, is if they're not prepared for that and they don't go ahead and kind of push through that. So I would say yes, if you're thinking about it, you need to do it. But you need to come in with an open mind and an open heart, and get with people that have done it, so you can understand all of what you're getting into.
Lewis County Delegate Adam Burkhammer. The bill that was completed was House Bill 4730. There's still several bills out there pending with a couple of days left in the session. Appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for what you do.
To transfer or not to transfer? We'll talk about that next.
West Virginia Natural Gas keeps energy affordable and are competitive for growth. Producing and using more of our reliable, homegrown energy helps stabilize prices for families and small businesses. Natural gas already supports more than 73,000 West Virginia jobs and generates billions for our economy. Investing in West Virginia natural gas means affordability, growth, and a stronger nation. Natural gas, affordable, reliable, American.
This message is brought to you by the Gas and Oil Association of West Virginia.
Welcome back, class of 2011. Most likely to be a millionaire, didn't quite make it. Hey, reunion's not over yet.
Over here, millionaire, smile.
Make room, people.
Who is that?
Congratulations to our very own Millionaire for Life.
Never too late, man.
You could win up to $1 million every year with Millionaire for Life. Play in store or online today. West Virginia Lottery. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
Coal-based generation remains the backbone of West Virginia's energy portfolio, ensuring reliability, security, and affordable electricity throughout the region. Our coal plants are engineered for performance, designed to run most efficiently at or near a 70% capacity factor. This level of operation is not arbitrary. It's based on sound engineering principles, scientific analysis, and has been formally adopted by the West Virginia Legislature as a reasonable target for optimal performance. When our coal fleet operates near that benchmark, it provides stable power to the grid, maintains cost efficiency, and supports thousands of good-paying jobs across our state. Coal generation also drives local tax revenue that sustains schools, infrastructure, and community services. Working in partnership with state leaders and the Trump administration, we're ensuring that our coal fleet remains modern, efficient, and ready to power West Virginia and beyond for decades to come. This message brought to you by the West Virginia Coal Association and Friends of Coal.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Picture a community where every space tells a story. Those are the communities we're designing at ZMM Architects and Engineers. With a blend of creativity and technical expertise, we design spaces that inspire, innovate, and ignite change. From cutting-edge educational facilities to community-centric gathering spaces, we're committed to improving lives through design. Let us help you shape a brighter future for generations to come. Because at ZMM, it's more than architecture. It's about building your legacy.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Hardwood Heat meets the Mountain State in Charleston. The 2026 West Virginia Girls High School Basketball State Championships, presented by Chick-fil-A. Saturday, March 14th. Every possession, every roar of the crowd, every championship moment live on Metro News Television, powered by GoMart. Watch on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Details at WVMetroNewsTV.com to get in the action.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
When I was heavy, being on my feet all day seemed like torture. It makes you feel defeated. I'm just gonna be like this for the rest of my life. But then I thought, I'm done acting like that. I'm not gonna be like that anymore. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 265 pounds. It's always been my goal to have my own place. I want everyone to feel welcome here. I would never have been able to do all these things before without WVU Medicine.
On the next State of Minds.
I came here to Morgantown, to WVU. I wanted to play football. Tried to walk on, but I was humbled very quickly. So I joined the WVU forestry team. What my father taught me was the importance of hard work and the importance of sweat equity.
Mother Nature's teasing you just a little bit the next couple of days to make you think it is boating weather, but it's not quite yet. It's still a couple of months out, and now is the time to think about the great deals at Lou Wendell Marine Sales on pontoon and fishing boats, so you are prepared when the weather breaks and it's time to hit the rivers and lakes. Check out the entire inventory at LouWendellMarineSales.com. Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun. The girls' high school basketball state tournament is underway. St. Mary's won its first quarterfinal matchup of the day. Charleston Catholic and Wyoming East is just underway. They are in the Class AA quarterfinal. Charleston Catholic with an early lead. We've got entire tournament coverage at WVMetroNews.com and, of course, on our Metro News affiliates as well throughout the tournament. Over here at the state capitol, the bill that would repeal the state code that instituted the transfer rule and created the unofficial transfer portal in high school sports was back in front of the Senate Education Committee this morning. It's already made it through the House. SSAC Executive Director Wayne Ryan joins us at the AARP broadcast location. And Wayne, we were busy. We had to get on the air. So where'd the bill go?
Well, I was busy too, just in a different place.
You were over there in the committee, though.
All right, so it went well. We had Tim George from Spring Valley, the athletic director, Jay Hesse, athletic director at Frankfort, Steve Wamsley, principal at Taggart's Valley, Eddie Smolder, coach at Winfield, Bob Mullett came over for support, and they all spoke. I was able to speak last, and we were able to answer a lot of questions. They had a lot of questions, which we understand. But in the end, the decision by the Senate Education Committee was to advance the repeal bill as is without any amendments to the Senate floor, and we're excited about that because that's also the way the House passed it, and that's what the House wanted is a repeal. We would like the transfer rule to be put back into the hands of the membership for them to promulgate the rule, not to be something in state code. And we were asked, during the committee hearing, we were asked if it's been a problem for the last 3 years, like we've been hearing, and everybody's been saying, why haven't you all fixed it? I'm saying, well, sir, we couldn't fix it. It was state law. I said, but if you can repeal this bill and give it back to us, we'll do our very best. So, that's where we stand. We're excited about that. We hope it has success on the Senate floor. I think the public certainly is asking for that. So we'll see what happens. But the good news today is it is out of the Senate Education Committee.
Wayne, what will your very best look like? What do you plan to do, or what do you think your board will do?
Well, we have to create an emergency rule because we don't have in our rulemaking process we don't have the timeline to create a regular rule through its regular process. So what will happen is we'll have to get our Constitution and Bylaws committees together. They will have to formulate what I want them to do is to formulate at least 2 or 3 options. And, right after these basketball tournaments, we got no time until we're having our Board of Control this year. So we're on a timeline where if they can get 2 or 3 proposals ready, we'll take them for the Board of Control for a vote. And we'll take that straight to the State Department of Ed for approval. And then that emergency rule will go into effect immediately. Then that will give us an opportunity to put that rule into effect through the proper processes next year. And then, or by then, any of the membership are allowed to offer edits to that rule or changes to that rule as they can annually to any of our rules.
And that membership, we're talking to SSAC Executive Director Wayne Ryan. This isn't Wayne Ryan's rule or one of the people there in Parkersburg who work the office. It's the member schools who make up the SSAC that propose the rules and ultimately vote on them.
I appreciate you saying that because I have to deliver that message all the time. I work for the member schools. The member schools make up our Board of Control. Our Board of Control makes our rules. I have to enforce them. We're the target at our office. We take a lot of the heat. That's okay. But we're working for the membership. So we only get rules from 3 places. The majority of our rules come from our membership. Occasionally there's a rule that comes from the State Department of Education, 2.0 rule, example. Mm-hmm. This rule, this state code coming from the legislature didn't work out very well this time. So, we really like for those rules-making process to be in the hands of the people who work within those frameworks every day in the school systems.
Do you get the idea that legislators have learned a lesson here?
I have to give them high praise and credit because they admitted that probably what we did 3 years ago wasn't best, but at the time they felt it was essential. And they think maybe now that they've understood that maybe we did make a mistake, but at the time we were pretty certain that we needed to look at this. And I think what they did, they looked at it, and then they've made a decision today at least within the Senate Education Committee that it needs to go in different directions. So I respect that process.
Got about 45 seconds, Wayne, but I want to ask you about the girls basketball state tournament. This is the 50th year of the state tournament, and girls sports has grown exponentially over that time.
It has, and 50 years of girls basketball, and obviously, as you know, girls basketball is pretty special to me. So I think it's awesome. And a lot of people ask, are you honoring any individual, any certain group? We're not. We're honoring anybody that's ever participated in the girls state tournament in 50 years. We've got a medallion coin for them. We're going to recognize them at the game, and then this is going to kick off an annual honoring process to certain programs. Certain individuals that have been historical, and we'll have something special each year moving forward, just like we're doing in football now, recognizing the decades of champions.
The girls basketball tournament is underway. I'll see you at the arena here in just a little bit. And
can't wait.
The transfer rule repeal is moving as well. Wayne, thanks for stopping by, buddy. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Coming up, we'll talk energy policy. Jim Bailey will join us from the West Virginia Energy Users Group as we continue here on Talkline. This is Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Jeff Jenkins. A West Virginia utility will soon ask to charge its customers more.
First Energy has notified the Public Service Commission they plan to request a base rate increase in the next 30 days. The details of the increase will be included in that filing. In 2023, the company requested a 15% base rate increase. After negotiations, that was reduced to about 8%. The PSC is expecting to receive the details about the increase in the next month. I'm Mike Nolte for WVMetroNews.com.
A long question, and State Public Service Commission Chairman Charlotte Lane had an attention-grabbing answer in the House Energy Committee's discussion Monday evening about a Senate-passed bill requiring coal-fired power plants to operate at 69% capacity.
When it's talking about the commission may not consider an application for cost recovery until the Public Energy Authority accepts the operational plan and determines that it is administratively complete and authentic. Can you tell me how you would deal with that, interpret that?
You mean after I jump off the bridge?
The bill is supported by the coal industry. Read more at WVMetroNews.com. The House and Senate in floor sessions this hour. You're listening to Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Hi, I'm Chris Waddell, Principal and Office Lead for Martinsburg for CEC. After serving in the military, I found my home in Martinsburg. Traveling across the states, I've always wanted to serve my community. At CEC, I get to do just that. Our core values, clients first and we own it, resonate with my mission-driven background. We solve problems by listening and collaborating, and as an employee-owned firm, we take pride in every project that we do. At CEC, we engineer progress in the great state of West Virginia.
Find out what CEC can do for you. Visit cecinc.com.
If you have a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone that does, please listen up. Here's your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, tuition, and fees. The 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. The deadline is May 3rd. For details, go to WVMetroNews.com to apply. That's WVMetroNews.com. Remember, application deadline is May 3rd.
Huntington Mayor Patrick Farrell says the city's new budget looks a lot like the current spending plan.
And it balances revenues and expenses as we're required to do. There are no new taxes, there's no new fees. Most of the year-to-year increases in this come from grant-funded money that's passing through from the state or the feds to the Water Quality Board.
Council passed the $87 million budget last night. It begins July 1st. We write about it at our website. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Jeff Jenkins.
MetroNews Talkline continues from the AARP broadcast location. Brad McElhenney will make an appearance coming up in the next segment. Running a small business is hard enough. Dealing with tech problems should not be part of the job. CityNet helps West Virginia businesses keep their technology running smoothly, whether you need full tech support or just extra help for a small IT team. From security and backups to day-to-day support, CityNet's local experts have you covered. Call today at 1-844-CityNet. Joining us here at the AARP broadcast location from the West Virginia Energy Users Group, James Bailey, who was there for the entire House Energy Committee meeting yesterday. You are a better man than I, sir. Good morning.
It was the most fun 7 hours that you never want to have again.
So we've talked a lot about Senate Bill 420, and this is, in short, would require coal-fired power plants to run at 69% capacity all the time. We have talked at that bill at length. For the energy users group, obviously, what would the ramifications of that bill be if that policy were to become law?
Well, ultimately, we believe the ramifications would be higher rates. And I think it's important to point out who makes up the energy users group. These are, the largest utility ratepayers in the state. If we have a 10% rate increase over however long, for mine and your, electric bill at home, that's going to be, $30 a month, $30 a month. For our members, that could be up to $300,000 a month. So these are very sophisticated individual entities who procure electricity and also happen to be some of the largest employers in the state. And these rates have a direct correlation on their ability to continue to operate and employ West Virginians. So we're very cognizant of anything that could impact rates. And also important to highlight, they're not anti-coal. They're not, they're not necessarily, they are pro-coal to the point that coal is the most economical thing to operate on. Beyond that, it should be whatever generates and provides the lowest possible rates to end users. So, this bill has come up, and I would like to commend the Senate on trying something. The status quo is not working. We have seen significant rate increases. A lot of people say it's okay, we're middle of the pack. We were just a decade or so ago, we were the cheapest place in America to procure electricity.
What changed?
A lot of things changed, but I don't think we can sit here and blame federal regulations necessarily. That is true, that has increased costs, but that has had an equal impact across every state in America. But there is no doubt it did impact costs. But West Virginia has seen, I believe all but one state, our rates have increased at a greater rate than all but one other state in the country. So every state dealt with the federal regulations. There's a lot of states in the PJM that we're sitting even next to, whose rates have increased, but not to the rate that ours have. One of the things that's obvious to me, anyways, while other states allowed their utilities, and especially in the deregulated states, have allowed independent power producers to invest in developing gas and other forms of electric generation. Our ratepayers have been on the hook for just coal. While other states, Ohio and Pennsylvania specifically, have built a tremendous amount of gas generation. And while we have a treasure trove underneath our feet in West Virginia, our ratepayers have not been able to benefit from that resource, because we have only, our regulated utilities have not to this point built gas generation. We're not necessarily saying they should, but all forms should be on the table as long as they return the proper investment to our ratepayers, and it's not going to result in higher rates.
Boil this down for folks like me, not folks like him. He knows the policy, he understands it well. Boil this down for a guy like me. I just want to see my power bill go down. I don't care if it's gas, wind, solar, or if I've got a hamster on a wheel outside the house doing laps every day. I just want to see my power bill go down. Is that achievable through deregulation? Is it we need to diversify energy sources? Do we need to run power plants at 69%?
Well, running power plants at 69%, the only reason, the only impact for mandating that is because eventually, inevitably, the utility will be required to bid into the PJM market at a rate cheaper than what it's costing them to generate, meaning there's a gap there that ratepayers are going to have to fill in.
And that's going to make my rate go up.
That's going to make your rate go up.
Okay, so that's off the table then.
Yes. It's a complicated market where, deregulation completely, is not something that our membership has ever fully supported. We do have taken the position that large users should be able to avail themselves of, more freedom of choice to procure electricity, and take the risk from whether it's, from more self-generation or from buying completely off the wholesale market. As the demand increases, there is a gap there in what our regulated utilities are generating versus what they're procuring off the PJM. I think the First Energy representative testified yesterday. They've got about a couple hundred megawatt, gap right now. There's a 600 megawatt data center that's been announced that would theoretically increase. Yes, they've announced they're going to build new gas powered generation, but that's going to take several years, early 2030s before that's, best case scenario is online.
Let's cut to something a little more hard and fast. With your membership, I mean, you clearly believe that if that 69% mandate, and you can tell me whether or not you believe it's a true mandate, but if that were to pass, what is the probability? We've been talking a lot about Jobs Ohio in that model. If someone from Ohio came knocking on your member's door where they don't have such mandates, or PA where they do have plentiful diversified generation, I mean, they were exporting tons on the PJM market when I looked the other day. What's the probability that some of your members may say, okay, West Virginia, we can't do business here anymore?
Well, the probability is 100% because it's already happening. I mean, we have seen large energy users close up shop. I mean,
give me an example.
Novelis in the Fairmont, and then North Central, they had 2 facilities that have closed down. The metal manufacturer in Huntington recently. You can go as far back as Constellium. And when we talk about needing large users to have some level of choice, one of the things you immediately hear is, well, they've got to stay on the grid to help other people. Well, they're being driven off the grid due to these rate increases. Again, the trend line is very concerning. So not only does that trend line hurt the people that are here, but it's also, again, I was with the state, worked in economic development. That trend line is very concerning. When you're looking at West Virginia to invest, and you would, I think logically you would rather if you're going to be a high energy intensive, manufacturing facility, for instance, you'd rather look at somewhere that's been more stable. That maybe your rates are the same, or maybe the rates might even be a tad higher, but they haven't shot up 60% over the last 10 years. And that's why I point out for the Senate to try to do something. Again, we disagree that mandating 69%, and we can certainly go into further of the semantics of the bill, whether it is or isn't. But the status quo clearly is not working. So, this conversation has to happen. Continuing on the route that we've gone cannot sustain because, we're losing jobs because of it.
Well, we'll park the car there. Status quo is not working. At least we're having a conversation. May not be the right solution at this point, but at least we are talking about it.
Yep.
James Bailey, West Virginia Energy Users Group, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate the insights.
Thank you.
We'll get the insights of Brad McElhenney next.
Getting ghosted is never fun, especially by your network. Cyber threats don't announce themselves. They slip in quietly, disrupt operations, and disappear before you know what happened. CityNet Cybersecurity Services provide proactive monitoring, threat detection, and expert response so your business stays connected and protected. Commit to a relationship built on trust and reliability. Learn more at citynet.net today. And remember, CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Since 1926, the West Virginia Hospital Association has been the collective voice of our state's hospitals. With a shared vision of strengthening communities, improving lives, and supporting our state's economic well-being, our member hospitals work every day to provide high-quality, accessible care. This year, we celebrate 100 years of a unified voice and our ongoing commitment to supporting our members in achieving a strong, healthy West Virginia.
A message from the West Virginia Hospital Association, online at wvha.org.
Worried about paying for college? MetroNews is proud to present the 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program, where one high school junior in West Virginia will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan College, including room, board, tuition, and fees. For details, go to wvmetronews.com and click the Apply Now button. Deadline is May 3rd. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program, presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to wvmetronews.com and apply today by May 3rd.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
At the Health Plan, we are here for you, and we have been one of the most trusted carriers for over 40 years. Headquartered right here in West Virginia, providing exceptional health coverage and local customer service.
The Health Plan, we are here for you.
Located in the heart of West Virginia, Bridgeport is the place to play. Endless indoor and outdoor recreation opportunities, including the Bridgeport Complex, coupled with a dynamic food scene, make Bridgeport the perfect getaway destination for couples and families. Explore unique shopping and pick from a wealth of lodging options to find something perfect for your needs. Explore the heart of West Virginia in Bridgeport. Learn more about all there is to do at greater-bridgeport.com.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Across West Virginia, hospitals are always here, healing, helping, and standing strong for our communities. Hospitals save lives and build livelihoods. They're among our largest employers, with a passionate workforce of 54,000 West Virginians. Hospitals are economic drivers, contributing close to $17 billion to our state's economy and working to ensure access to care for all. From life-saving moments to wellness support, West Virginia hospitals keep our state healthy, our families strong, and our future bright.
It's the late nights. It's the early mornings. It's working in the sunshine and rain and snow. It's the dedication, the care, the hours of training that led to the winner's circle. It's our job, our passion, our lives. We are the horsemen.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
With Metro News Hotline. If it's trending, it's probably here.
So it's Dennis, it's Rodman degrees out there today.
Oh, that sounds really uncomfortable.
I know it does. I know it does.
Is that legal? Is that past FCC? I don't know if you're allowed to say anything's Rodman something. That's
it's Rodman degrees.
That's
outside.
like saying it's awful Diddy out there. I don't know that we can do that.
Yeah. Join Dave Weekly and Coop weekdays for Hotline on Metro News Television.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Brad McElhenney joins us from the AARP broadcast location. Brad's Capital Report brought to you by AARP, your ally for real possibilities in the Mountain State. Connect on social media at AARP West Virginia and learn more at aarp.org/WV. Brad, good morning.
Oh, hi, good morning.
What's happening, Brad?
We're at the very final edge of the morning. So for the sake of our listeners who are interested in Capitol goings-on, I will say there's a lot going on, and it's all very exciting. To you two, in truth, I will say not much.
Is that because the budget's already through and everybody's waiting on that to clear? You can't spend money now, right? Has that got anything to do with it?
It does feel like typically we're building up to the budget, and that's sort of the crescendo. This week, we did it last week, and it feels like kind of a bookend, or like we're in a dip in between. We expect it to come back from the governor, and then there might be a round of overriding some vetoes, which will be very exciting. But right now, it feels like kind of calm between the storms. I also think that it's sort of natural that each chamber, that they're into their own bills, and then after crossover day, when you're working on the other chamber's bills, you're like, I don't love this. I don't know. It's fine. Whatever. Like, there's just not as much emotional involvement. Governor has a press conference.
What did the governor have a press conference on?
Okay, so between me and you and Toby and Edith and Mama, the governor calls things press conferences where he invites admirers and supporters in, and it is very ceremonial. And then at the very end, almost as an afterthought, he says, "Any questions from the media?" This was one of those, although it was without the "any questions from the media." Mostly it was billed as an update for the Rural Transformation Fund. That is unlocking millions of federal dollars for rural health in West Virginia. It's part of the big, beautiful bill. There is an aspect of it that Mama is going to find super exciting. It's a bill that unlocks the federal spending authority, and it has been in the House Finance Committee essentially as a poker chip to lay down in this back and forth between the governor and the House. The governor today expressed frustration and I would say impatience that the House hasn't already passed that bill. The rest of us in normal land don't really understand, like, well, what's the rush? Like, if if it passes today rather than tomorrow or tomorrow rather than today. What's the difference? But the governor was very animated about what he believes has been a delay so far. But that does lead me into the House Finance Committee does have that bill on its agenda. It's processed, but it's not a big deal. It's unlocking millions of dollars, allowing the state to have the spending authority. Also, the governor's tax cut bill is on that House Finance agenda tomorrow. The governor, of course, has planned for 5%, aspires to 10%, and we don't really know what temperature level the House is going to go for.
I mean, I think 10% is off the table. Any chance with this political posturing that the House Finance Committee sends a message back to the governor and maybe they float less than 5%? It's possible, right?
I think anything's possible. The budget bill that already passed allows for 5%, but it doesn't necessarily build the 5% in. You got to have the separate bill for it.
Yeah.
I've continued to hear a lot of caution. I think 10 is now off the table. 5 seems maybe acceptable to people around here. Still a little risky if the economy goes south or there's unanticipated spending. But I think 5 might be in the area of we can do it. The governor, as you pointed out in your commentary, has been active on social media.
Yes.
And on Friday evening put out one that, I don't know, sounded dissatisfied with where we are right now on the tax cut. Sunday he put out one that I thought sounded more sort of cooperative in spirit. So it's sort of hard to understand where he is on the matter.
I mean, anecdotally, guys, everybody I talk to says, forget it. Go zero and pave some roads. I'm tired of dodging potholes. I don't know that people care that much outside of this building about 5% to 0. Because, again, it's a percent of a percent. So most West Virginians, I don't want to, say it's not important, a couple $100. Would you rather have a couple $100 to put, 2 tanks of gas in your car at this point, the way we're trending? Or would you rather hit potholes all the time?
I would start a long-term mutual fund,
So we have had an ongoing conversation about if he gets the 5%, is that a win? Seems like it would be normally, but I am of the political opinion that he's ratcheted expectations to the 10 in the political world, which is not the same as the budgeting world. I just think 5% again comes across like a tie.
I said it yesterday when we talked about this. I'll say it again today. If I'm in that office downstairs, I take my 5%, I go out on the road, and I tell everybody how I cut taxes $225 million this year.
Yep.
That's what I would do. And you're right. It's only a percent of a percent that gets you, if you go back to the original where it was originally, it gets us to, 32% of the income tax that had been chopped off from where it was originally
the rate
of years ago.
The rate of the rate. So. Ironically, as I filmed a video yesterday about the potholes that I have to traverse and put on social media, guess what happened? I hit one.
And
picked up a slow leak. I got to go to the tire place after the show and get. So there you go.
So
maybe I'm jaded then.
You're contributing to the economy, our tire-based economy. Thank you.
MetroNews statewide correspondent Brad McElhoney. He'll write about something today. He always does. Brad.
Last night it was 11 p.m. before I did, so be patient.
Brad, sponsored by AARP, your ally for real possibilities in the Mountain State. Back to wrap it up in a moment.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan, we are here for you.
Hospitals drive West Virginia's economy. They produce jobs and create opportunities while keeping our communities healthy. Employing nearly 54,000 people, West Virginia hospitals rank among our state's largest and most dependable employers. They provide more than $1 billion in community benefits and generate nearly $17 billion in total economic impact each year. Hospitals are investing where it counts, advancing health, ensuring access to care, and powering West Virginia's economic future.
A message from the West Virginia Hospital Association, online at WVHA.org.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
When my shift ends, I hang up my hard hat and head home, proud of the work we're doing here in West Virginia. Natural gas is more than energy. It's jobs, investment, and opportunity across our state. We put safety first and deliver reliable energy families and businesses count on. For families like mine, it means steady work and a stronger future. West Virginia Natural Gas, fueling communities today and building tomorrow.
This message is brought to you by the Gas and Oil Association of West Virginia.
Coal-based generation remains the backbone of West Virginia's energy portfolio, ensuring reliability, security, and affordable electricity throughout the region. Our coal plants are engineered for performance, designed to run most efficiently at or near a 70% capacity factor. This level of operation is not arbitrary. It's based on sound engineering principles, scientific analysis, and has been formally adopted by the West Virginia Legislature as a reasonable target for optimal performance. When our coal fleet operates near that benchmark, it provides stable power to the grid, maintains cost efficiency, and supports thousands of good-paying jobs across our state. Coal generation also drives local tax revenue that sustains schools, infrastructure, and community services. Working in partnership with state leaders and the Trump administration, we're ensuring that our coal fleet remains modern, efficient, and ready to power West Virginia and beyond for decades to come. This message brought to you by the West Virginia Coal Association and Friends of Coal.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Start your new year off right.
MetroNews Hotline with Dave Weekly.
GMC.
All right, Kathy Mattea joins me now.
Our 2026 GMC Acadias. Spacious, smooth, and made for everyday life. It's truly a fan favorite. Drive into winter with a new 2026 GMC Sierra, now up to $12,000 off, or lease as low as $499 a month. So upgrade your ride this year with us at Kanawha GMC in Bridgeport. Shop Thora.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Touchdown! We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
It all comes down to this in Charleston. The 2026 West Virginia Boys High School Basketball State Championships presented by Chick-fil-A. Saturday, March 21st. Every possession, every roar of the crowd, every championship moment. Live on Metro News Television, powered by GoMart. Watch on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Details at WVMetroNewsTV.com to get in the action.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
Jackpots are in the millions in West Virginia. Jackpots are on the rise every week. Powerball jackpot is up to $58 million. Mega Millions jackpots, $533 million. So go ahead, play today. That's going to do it for us from the state capitol. I'm headed over to the Charleston Civic Center and Coliseum. Girls basketball state tournament action across the Metro News Radio Network all week long. I'll be there the rest of the day. Be back at the Capitol at 10:06. For Jake Link, Stephanie Pauley, Ethan Collins, I'm Dave Wilson. This is Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.